Fossil fuels. The three main types of fossil fuels are coal, crude oil, and natural gas. Now let's see how they're made.
Where energy comes from. The three major fossil fuels, coal, oil and natural gas, are all formed from organic remains of prehistoric plants and animals. These remains are subject to intense pressure over millions of years, changing them into coal, oil and gas. We often find oil and natural gas in similar areas, hundreds of meters below the seabed, though gas is usually found deeper still. Through seismology, it's possible to artificially create vibrations on the surface by using controlled explosions, and record how these vibrations are reflected back to the surface, revealing the properties of the rock layers beneath. Wells are drilled from a drilling rig to confirm the presence and quantity of gas in the rock, which travels up lengths of pipe once reached. If there is enough gas, the drilling rig is replaced by a production platform to collect and send it to the shore under pressure via pipeline. National Grid then takes the gas from the shore and sends it around the countryside through steel pipelines over 1 meter wide. As the gas gets closer to homes, the pipelines split into smaller ones, which may only be 20 millimeters wide. How electricity is made. Atoms consist of a positively charged central nucleus and negatively charged electrons, which float around the outside in much the same way as satellites orbit the Earth. When groups of atoms form materials, such as metals, electrons are free to move and flow, jumping between the atoms. These materials are known as conductors. This movement or flow of electrons is what we know as electricity. Power stations work by turning mechanical energy, movement, into electrical energy. A mechanical force turns a turbine, which rotates large magnets within coils of wire, and this induces electrical current, generating electricity. Electricity generators can be powered in a number of ways. Burning fossil fuels. Coal, oil and natural gas are traditional fuels, but are harmful to the environment and cause climate change. Plutonium can be split to create nuclear energy. This method can produce huge amounts of electricity, but nuclear material is unstable and requires very careful management, and disposal of byproducts is difficult. Biomass is a renewable source of energy, including natural substances such as wood, organic waste, hydrogen gas and alcohol fuels. There are also other fuels which are renewable and are better for the environment. Wind power can harness the wind to turn the turbines and generate electricity. Hydropower uses the power and weight of water to turn the turbines. Solar power can also be used to generate electricity by capturing the sun's energy. National Grid can take the electricity generated from any of these sources, putting it into the network that eventually delivers electricity to homes and high streets around the country. National Grid plays a vital role in delivering gas and electricity to many millions of people across Great Britain and northeastern US in an efficient, reliable and safe manner. Electricity cannot be stored, so National Grid must balance supply and demand on a minute-by-minute basis. This function also ensures the security and quality of energy supply across the whole system, so that it's always there when it's needed.
Facts about fossil fuels. Coal. Electric utilities consume about 87% of the total coal produced. In the United States, coal is used to generate more than half of all electricity produced. It is also used as a basic energy source in main industries and as a heating fuel. The U.S. is one of the top exporters of coal in the world. Most exported U.S. coal goes to Western Europe, Canada, and Japan. To date, it has not been economical to make synthetic fuels from coal on a large scale. As processes become more efficient, the use of synthetic fuels may become more economical. Oil. In the Middle East alone has about 63% of the known reserves. Of the oil consumed in the United States, Most is used in transportation, and much of the rest goes to industrial, commercial, and residential uses. In general, about 30% of the oil trapped can be economically recovered by pumping. Secondary recovery can remove another 10% by flooding the well with high-pressure water or gas. Concentrations of oil are low, so that, at most, 1 barrel of oil can be recovered from 2.4 tons of sand or 1.5 tons of rock. Natural gas. In a compressed form, natural gas can also be used as a transportation fuel. Natural gas is either found mixed in oil or is released from coal. World reserves of natural gas are greatest in Russia, Iran, Corridor, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and the U.S. The U.S. consumed 19.7 million cubic feet of natural gas in 1999, nearly all of which came from domestic production. 5 states, Texas, Louisiana, Alaska, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, hold more than 85% of U.S. natural gas reserves. Roughly 60% of the heat from the natural gas is harnessed to make electricity, creating a more energy-efficient system. Advantages of fossil fuel. It is able to generate large amounts of electricity from a single location, easy to find, easy to transport, and coal, one of the main fossil fuels, is very cost-effective and very abundant. Disadvantages of fossil fuel. Fossil fuels give off carbon dioxide when burned. This causes a greenhouse effect. The burning of fossil fuels is one of the main factors of global warming. When coal is burned, it gives off sulfur dioxide, where acid rain comes from. The mining of coal can cause destruction of large areas of land. Coal mining is a very dangerous job for the workers as well. Crude oil causes pollution. It holds many environmental hazards, such as oil spills. It also contains toxic chemicals which cause air pollutants when burned. We are using these fuels at a faster rate than the production of oil, which means eventually we will run out. Fossil fuels and the percent of U.S. energy consumption. What? How is that going to affect us politically, financially, and technologically, you ask? The political, technological, and economic effects of fossil fuels go hand in hand. Economically, a number of countries, including Britain, Egypt, and Indonesia, have turned from net oil exporters into importers in recent years. And although rich countries have curbed their energy guzzling a little, demand continues to surge in emerging markets. This has left the oil market very vulnerable to temporary supply disruptions, such as the war in Libya. Technological. Over the past 20 years, nearly 3/4 of human-caused emissions came from fossil fuels. So in order to resolve this, we capture CO2 emissions from coal plants and store it so it can't enter the atmosphere. Political. America's dependence on foreign oil has gone down ever since Obama took office. What is in store for fossil fuels in the future? Well, energy consumption is projected to rise at a rapid pace, with a 53% increase by 2035 coming mainly from China and India. Also, in 2035, fossil fuels will still be the dominant source of energy at 78%. Renewables only represent 15% of world energy in 2035, up to 10% today. With the increase of technology, we still continue to find fossil fuels and won't run out in 75 to 100 years as projected. How are fossil fuels being used in Idaho? Well, Idaho imports 75% of its energy. 80% of Idaho's energy is fossil fuels that are from out of state. Idaho spends $2.7 billion a year on their imported energy And since Idaho does not use its own energy, Idahoan residents are susceptible to pay the rising prices of fossil fuels. And if you'd like to know more about any of this fossil fuel research, please visit these websites.